Hello, my loves, and welcome back to Bow and Arrow Tarot. Here are the three piles to choose from for today's pick a card titled, This Person Will Contact You. As always, take a deep breath, soften your gaze, and let your intuition guide you to the pile that calls to you. Timestamps are below, but if you're new here, I always recommend grounding first. Let's begin. If you pick pile 1, your message begins with the archetype, the shadow. Who is this person? They're resonating with the shadow, the King of Swords. Let's see some more energy. 8 of Swords. Wow. And another King of Swords. This person is very much in their head, thinks a lot. They have some shadow energy here. We're going to go deeper. So why and how are they contacting you? We have girl talk and we have power. Moon and Scorpio energy, along with Wands energy, Page, and more King energy, King of Cups. Very alpha energy here for this person. And what does Spirit have to say about this? We have Beyond the Mind, the Heartbeat, Spirit of the Lighthouse, and Spirit of the Skulls, Melancholy and Depression. All right, let's get right into your reading. The Shadow and the King of Swords. So this person will contact you. They are someone who is compelled to act on their thoughts, act on their plans, their strategies. Shadow energy, this is someone who is right now dealing with a lot of deep emotions, issues, maybe even some baggage. They're taking a good, cold, hard look inside, and at the same time their mind is racing. King of Swords energy, somebody's thinking a lot, strategizing a lot, ruminating over things, deciding. They may also really put on this air of authority, right? This air of really being in charge, knowing what they're doing, and yet they're plagued, right? So this is somebody who may on the surface put on a lot of alpha energy, but with that 8 of Swords and that shadow archetype, deep down inside they struggle with control, right? They struggle with feeling as though they are truly who they want to be, right? All of this air, all of this King of Swords energy, all of this individual who feels compelled to contact you. We're going to get into why and how. A lot of it is to do with their thoughts. They're up in their head. They're second guessing themselves. They have deep emotions or urges, desires, but I think that they struggle. They may be in a real war with themselves between the persona they want to portray to the world, right? What they believe they should be doing and what they truly want to do, right? And so there is definitely a conflict here. So before we move on, I want to just get some clarity because we will be talking about girl talking power, but there's a lot of King energy here. So, in the light of a reading, when we do a pick a card, this person will contact you. We always want to look at the person and then, what is compelling them. So right now, they're very much in their head and they're being compelled by thoughts, ideas. They may not be accurate, right? But they think they're correct, right? They definitely think they're correct. You're on their mind, right? And there's something that they're thinking about in terms of straightening perhaps even something out, right? Let's get a little bit clarity. Up 8 of Swords over 8 of Swords. Yeah, they really there are deep desires here that they feel compelled to express, right? They have been in a struggle of figuring out how to do that, the right way to do that, the right words to use. And but they're at a stage now where they just have to address their emotions. This person probably struggles with expressing their emotions anyway. And still, even though somebody may struggle with expressing their emotions, doesn't mean they don't have them. And this is a clear example of someone who has very heavy emotions and feelings, right? But they struggle to put them into words. They struggle to express them. They may have fears and doubts. And this all speaks to a deeper level of shadow work that they have to deal with. So now when we get to this section here, why and how are they contacting you? It's about power, and there want to be, we have this girl talk energy here. It almost feels as though they're compelled. Why do they want to reach out? Girl talk, time with friends, happy, single. Are you happy and single? Yeah, for those of you resonating with this reading, I want to know, are you happy and single right now? Are you kind of like living in your best life? You're having fun with your friends? Because this is compelling this individual to feel a need to contact you. Moon and Scorpio energy, that power, how will they contact you? They're going to express themselves emotionally. There's going to be some kind of outburst for sure. These deep set emotions, they're being triggered by a lot of what they see, which is why they have such strong mental energy right now. They're seeing a lot of what's going on. This person sees you having a good time. Girl talk energy is what, is what's pushing them on to want to contact you. And so that's why I ask you, are you having your best, you living your best life right now? Because this will indeed sometimes bring people in who perhaps at some other time may have cast you aside, may not have been compelled to speak to you, right? Now all of a sudden they're thinking a lot about things. They're in their head. They're like, well, why are they having such a good time? I see them living their best life. And Moon in Scorpio, what do they truly desire? Well, this is a power card. They desire having power. They desire what they desire at the moment. This kind of energy wants what it wants when it wants it. And if it doesn't want something, it doesn't. It's very extreme. So let's follow this up with some Page of Wands and King of Cups. Yeah. They want to be that King of Cups. They want to have that courage. So yeah, this person has really been compelled by watching you and seeing you living your life, enjoying your life, perhaps even moving on from them. Let's get some clarity. I'm going to pull another clarifier on this. Perhaps you're moving on from them. Does this resonate for you? Is this someone, have you had someone in your life recently, or maybe I'm going to say in the last year or two, that, the two of you are no longer together? Perhaps they had a lot of, I don't know, they just weren't in touch with their heart very much. They may have had a lot of ideas about how a relationship should be, and it didn't fit in. They may have come across even a little bit surface, right? And they may have decided to be the one to walk away. I also feel energy here of someone who's quite into themselves. So, but now, wow, this is twice now that it's happened. So Page of Wands just came out over Page of Wands. Okay. And we had 8 of Swords over here coming out over 8 of Swords. So listen, there's some heavy karmic vibes here, because the two of you are either learning lessons from each other, or someone's learning a lesson from you. But in any case, courage is what's needed here. Courage to face up to your individuality, your uniqueness. This person has been sort of, I want to say, plagued even by two sides of himself. One side is a deep desire to really express themselves the way they truly desire to express themselves and want to be their unique creative selves. And then on the other hand, really, really caught up in their head about who they should be, and, what's the right way to present yourself, and what's the right, stat, and then maybe even a little bit of status energy here. Well, when they stepped away, they thought you would be just, this haughtiness, this hubris. They thought that maybe you wouldn't be okay, but you're fine. And so now they have to contact you. Now all of a sudden they feel compelled. Two Page of Wands, all of a sudden now there's this feeling of them being kind of like, damn, I messed up. Like, it took them being shook out of their kind of overconfident, right? Overconfident, elitist. I hear elitist energy here, vibe, and realizing, the power that, you have. It's just seeing you in your power, seeing you enjoying yourself, living your life, and them having to face up to the fact that they still miss you. Right? Like, they just got caught up in their head with some nonsense, basically. And it still doesn't deal with the deeper issue that they care, and they have, deeper emotions that they want to let out, but they just can't. And so, yeah, they're going through a real karmic phase here, a real shadow period. And so what does Spirit have to say to you about it all, right? Because this person wants to be your King of Cups all of a sudden, right? They want to show that courage. Page of Wands is all about courage. So they want to show that courage now. Well, what does Spirit say? Spirit says, beyond the mind, the heart beats. So listen to your heart. Like, don't get caught up in your head either, right? So, don't get caught up the way this person was caught up, and now they're beginning to listen to their heart. They're beginning to show some courage. Mind you, a lot of this has to do with deep emotions that do kind of spring from ego. So take that for what you will. But clearly, I feel like you had feelings for them at some point. And so Spirit is reminding you that, don't do the same thing that they did, which is get caught up in your head. Behind the mind, beyond the mind, the heart beats. Meaning, listen to your heart, right? Listen to your heart. If and when this person contacts you, and I do say why and how will they contact you. I hope I've been clear that moon in Scorpio tells you how. It's going to be dramatic, right? It's going to be a dramatic contact. They may suddenly pop up with, a gift or not, or just, it's whatever it is, whatever way they make that contact. It won't be subtle or quiet. It'll be very dramatic and filled with a lot of emotion. Certainly if, for some of you, if you're dealing with this, you resonate with this, if this sounds like this person in your life that now regrets, if they were very dramatic, were they dramatic? What would you imagine? If this is the same person you're thinking about and you're resonating with this, and when I'm telling you that it's going to be dramatic, what would you imagine a good dramatic entry would be for them? Because I'm really curious about that. And so remember, I just wanted to follow back and make sure you guys got the how they're going to contact you. Why? Is because you're living your best life. And so when we get back to Spirit here, talking about Spirit of the Lighthouse and Spirit of the Skulls, long return home, guiding light, and then depression, illness, melancholy. It feels to me like, I don't want to sound funny, but like they're sad. They miss you. They're sad. There's a melancholy here, and that can happen especially when you are doing really well. Let's pull one more card. Yeah, Page of Cups, there it is. That little expression of love, very timid, more Page energy. They want to be your King of Cups, but Page of Cups pops out because they're like very timidly. Oh, I turned it over. Bottom of the deck was the Ace of Hearts. I haven't done bottom of the deck in a while, but I'm going to leave that out there. Bottom of the deck was Ace of Hearts, y'all. All right, so yeah, a little profession of love, a little bit like, hey, But at the same time, I do feel like it's going to be very dramatic, but it'll be the first tiptoe into them hoping to be your King of Cups. Yeah, it will still be dramatic. Why? Because they want to come home. They want to return. So that's the message I have for you today. Now let's go ahead and pull out your zodiac signs for this reading, Pisces. Some of you are dealing with the Pisces. I'll put that over here. Pisces energy. Some of you are dealing with the Scorpio. Yep, more water energy, Pisces, Scorpio. That's that King of Cups. Some of you are dealing with the Leo. Surprise. And so that's that fire, the king fire. And some of you are dealing with that Taurus. Yes, Taurus energy. That's the message I have for you today and for Pile 1. I hope it brought you clarity and insight. If you feel called to stay with me for Pile 2, I'll see you there in just a moment. If you picked Pile 2, your message begins with the Hunter. Wow. And a Queen of Pentacles. So right away, that Queen and that Hunter, that Queen is definitely you. Page of Pentacles, we have 10 of Swords. How and why will they be contacting you? Optimism, Hand of Cards. Interesting, taking a risk. We have 6 of Cups and 8 of Swords. And Spirit says, releasing allegiances along with Spirit of the Waters and Spirit of the Pegasus. All right, well, this is a multi-layered reading here. Right away, I can see. Don't forget to stay until the end, where we'll be pulling out the zodiac signs to see what zodiac signs are in this connection. But right away, let's just get into the Hunter and the Queen of Pentacles. So right away, I can see that that Queen is you, right? The Querent, the Viewer, the Hunter, your person, this person that will make contact with you is on the hunt, and they're on the hunt for you. You're squarely in their sights. The Hunter archetype is very sort of focused, precise, strategic, right? They have a mission, an objective to gain something or to achieve something, to specifically to hunt something. So there is a real strategy here of how do you make this contact? You know, there's more to it than just, you know, running after something. And so this is quite an interesting reading. Queen of Pentacles, absolutely, you know, resonates with your energy. I feel that right away. Queen is very patient. She's not a hunter. She's a builder. She's an engineer. She's one who builds. She understands time, that it takes time to build things. Now, if this person in this connection here who will make contact with you, they're resonating with a Page of Pentacles and 10 of Swords energy. So right away, something happened with this individual. Some very heavy karmic situation came to an end, right? There's something that finally closed in their lives, some kind of stage. It may have even been a relationship that they had with someone. It ended quite spectacularly, right? It may have ended as well after a long period of a lot of strife, a lot of arguing, a lot of brooding, a lot of back and forth, right? But now finally it is ended. And it's squarely on the hunt and wanting to begin something new. Just one little step towards something new. It's interesting. It's almost as if there's some kind of karmic cycle that had to end for this person, and they've come right out of the gate towards you. Now, I wonder if there's some history here. Let's first of all pull some clarity. 2 of Swords. There was a decision. Wow. So there was a decision at some point here with this person, folks, where they may have decided for someone else, right, in the past. If you're resonating with this already, sounds like your individual. Was there someone you were connected with that at one point or another may have made a decision for a different person, a different scenario, a different path, a different whatever, right? That 2 of Swords, it may have been very difficult even for them to make that decision. Nevertheless, I'm hearing here that for some of you, this person is someone from the past where they made a decision, and the decision or the option that they chose came to a spectacular end. And now they're very much wanting to come to you, right? For some of you, this decision is happening now. For some of you, this individual, the hunter who's hunting his queen, that's you, they had an option. They had a decision to make. And the option is either to end whatever they're in now whatever stage, like I say, it could be a relationship. It could just be a place they were in their lives, right? It could be that they were working somewhere or in some sort of scenario. But I honestly feel that it was a connection, a relationship that they could have, the choices stay with this relationship that seems quite toxic, needed to come to an end with that Ten of Swords, and possibly another option here with you. Anyway, in any case, two of Swords, Moon and Libra energy, strong here, very strong. So something changed, an option was presented, and this person chose the option of making contact with you, coming in contact with you. So now when we move on and we talk about how and why, well, Moon and what do we have? Moon and Sagittarius, optimism, and the why, right? So Hand of Cards is taking a chance, a risk. They're optimistic. They're optimistic about it, and they know that they're going to be taking a risk in the way that they contact you. So it's interesting that it feels to me like the scenario could be different for some of you. If you are resonating with this and this is an old flame that you had a relationship with before, that maybe there was some shadow there, is it a risk for them to contact you? Like, would you only accept their contact if they contacted you a certain way, perhaps very apologetic, right? And for some of you, I feel like this person, their contact that they want to make with you, they're very optimistic, but they haven't, you may have always only ever been friends. This may be somebody who's taking a chance now, a risk, taking a chance to leave a connection they already have or leave a situation they already have, but they're taking a chance to come to you. Now, either they're coming to you because they need to apologize and they want to rekindle, or they're coming to you because their eyes have been opened up in some way and they now see you as a love interest. So if you're resonating with this, why would it be a risk? Like, is it just your love language? Or, is there somebody in your past that if they tried to contact you after messing up with you, like how would they have to make that contact? I'm so curious. So let's get some more clarity on that. I'm going to move on in a minute to the bottom cards, but I just want to know a little bit. Wow, 10 of Cups, so happiness. The situation promises, or certainly it has a great potential for happiness. The person is really optimistic about it. They're very, very optimistic about the two of you working out, being a good couple, getting together, all of that. It looks, it feels good to them. And so I wonder, now if we go down to the supporting energy, 6 of Cups, 8 of Swords, they really do feel as though they've been holding on to these emotions for a long time. Some of you definitely know this person, like you're friends with them. You may have been friends with them for a long time. For some of you, I'm hearing this scenario. You were friends with this person, and they always ended up having a lover in their lives. Like, you're their friend, but they had a partner. And these partners have consistently been the wrong ones, consistently not been. And you knew it, right? You knew it. You may have had feelings for them. You may even, for some of you, I hear that you did have feelings for them and that maybe they shut you down and that was a little bit hurtful. But now, more than anything, I feel that this person is just like realizing whatever the scenario is, they're realizing they were wrong. Like, they're realizing there's a sense of appreciation here. 6 of Cups comes in. Affection, trust, loyalty. They're appreciating something about the connection with you. They're appreciating something about the value of being with you. They're appreciating these things, and something to do with them contacting you is in their mind a risk. So again, like, I'm so curious for some of you, if it is a risk and you know who I'm talking about, let me know why. Let me know in the comments, why would it be a risk? But they're not going to slow down. They're resonating with hunter energy. They are not slowing down. They absolutely see you as this queen. So if they didn't see you before, they see you now. So let's move on to what Spirit has to say. I'm so curious because Spirit says releasing allegiances. It's so interesting. Are there allegiances here that maybe, are holding the two of you apart? I wonder, it almost feels like for some, I feel this energy of, yeah, friendship. There may have been a scenario where like they were dating somebody that was a friend of yours, and they maybe stopped dating them a while back. Or I don't feel toxic energy here. I don't feel toxic third party, manipulation or game playing. But I do feel like for some of you, this is an interesting scenario of a friendship or relationship that's kind of not at that lover level, resonating up to a lover level for sure. And this person being dead set on making this contact with you. And when Spirit says releasing allegiances, it's like letting you know, put yourself first, right? There may be allegiances that you have that are holding you back, that aren't good for you, or but that might be telling you, no, this is the wrong thing to do. Let that go. Right? Spirit of the waters and spirit of Pegasus. There's a cleansing, a healing happening here. Healing of emotions, a cleansing, but also spirit of Pegasus. Unrealistic delusions, not as it seems. Wow. So is it, I almost wonder if that is just like what you're feeling. It could very well be what this person is resonating with. Like they may be an air or an energy here of like, am I being crazy? Am I being delusional? Again, that hand of cards with the risk. Let me pull another clarifier. I'm going to pull one more clarifier for this. I do feel like your person, like it's not going to slow them down. Hermit. Wow. It's not going to slow them down, but they're nervous, right? They're nervous about this. They are nervous about making contact. They're optimistic and they're going to definitely, they're going to keep going. Moon in Sagittarius, is strong, fiery, not unstoppable, really. Sagittarian energy in that position won't stop. But as well, we just pulled the Hermit. So the Hermit tells you that this person is used to being on their own in a way, right? Definitely being into themselves spiritually. Again, there's a loner energy here. There's a different energy, a pulling away energy. Unrealistic. It's interesting. Some of you may have been, coming to this reading, my lovelies, may have lately been in a hermit mode. And so for you, it may feel a little bit unrealistic, right? Nevertheless, Spirit of Pegasus, I also associate with the belief in magic, and belief in beautiful, fantastic things happening. And so, yeah, they can be unrealistic. You have to take care. Things aren't always as they seem. But with that 10 of Cups, it promises to be a nice love connection. So let's go ahead and pull out the zodiac runes for you now. We have Sagittarius. Some of you dealing with Sagittarian energy. Put that right there. What else do we have? We have Cancer. Some of you are dealing with that Cancer energy. This person may be a Cancer. They may have Cancer in their natal chart, right? Some of you are dealing with that Aries, another fire sign. So Sagittarius, Aries. There's a lot of fire here. Virgo, some of you dealing with that Virgo, and that of course resonates hard with that Queen of Pentacles. So yeah, Sagittarius, Cancer, Aries, and Virgo. All right, that's the message I have for you today and for pile number 2. I really hope it brought you clarity and insight. And if you feel called to stay with me for pile number 3, I'll see you there in just a moment. If you picked pile 3, your message begins with the Mother. Wow. And we have the King of Wands, fire and the Mother, strong archetype, along with Page of Cups and the 8 of Cups. Oh, wow. So there was a definite walking away. Somebody walked away. We have appreciation coming back with Moon and Leo. Coffee cup. So this is the why and how they make contact with you. We have Hierophant and the Wheel of Fortune. Right away, I can see that this is a really destined karmic energy, especially with that Wheel of Fortune, but we're going to get into it. Spirit is saying after the storm, along with Spirit of the Earth and spirit of alchemy. All right, everybody. So interesting energy here. We start right off with who is this person that will make contact with you? And so we get this mother, strong mother, heavy fire energy, King of Wands, fire of fire. This individual, I'm gonna say is searching for you, looking back though, right? This energy here is an energy of looking back and realizing, valuing the mother archetype is so strong, nurturing, compassionate, and yet always there, right? Secure. But at the same time, the true strong mother archetype will, provide a sense of freedom as well, let you go to be off on your own. So it's a strong quality. it's a undervalued quality depending on the connection. And so with this King of Wands here, this individual almost feels like they have woken up recently to a mother figure in their life. I feel like that energy is directed at you. Now, King of Wands, they can be quite immature sometimes. King of Wands is very strong, very individual, very creative, natural born leader, impulsive, but smart and wise. However, the flip side of that king can be someone who's very immature, oftentimes acts on their fiery desire rather than really thinking things through. They can struggle with being deeply connected with their emotions rather than just acting out on things. And so there's an energy here of this individual looking back on a mother figure in their life, or someone certainly that encompassed that strong mother energy. Now, Page of Cups and Eight of Cups. Yeah, somebody walked away. Eight of Cups specifically, it was like somebody walking away and saying, yeah, I've had enough, right? Then we have that Page of Cups energy of like being curious again. So I feel like this person may have walked away in the past because there's a backward looking energy here. Let's begin to take a look at some clarifiers. They may indeed have walked away in the past from you specifically, right? Or walked away from a connection with you, because we're talking about this person who will contact you. They will contact you. Why, So here we get into the why and how, but what's going on with them and what's the history? Yeah, it feels to me like they walked away and now there's a renewed sense of value that they have when they look at you. Strength comes in, Leo. Interesting. Yeah, they may have learned, they may have gone through a period where their control over themselves, their control over their emotions, being able to sort of be in charge of yourself, right? Not always act impulsively or act out of, jealousy or anger, right? Acting like that brings a life of chaos and difficulty. Next thing you know, you're getting locked up, So it's like, there's something to that, being able to control your emotions or at least understand your emotions and not let them take you over. And it feels to me like this person has really had a journey in that. Right? There's something that's happened here for them before they walked away, but there's some journey that has happened where they really grew up and they got a little bit wiser, perhaps a bit more mature. And now they're looking back and they have a renewed sense of curiosity about this relationship here with you. Let's go ahead. I will put more clarifiers. Let's go ahead and take a look at how and why. So the why, Moon and Leo. So Leo shows up some more. Moon and Leo energy, appreciation. Yeah, it's because they start to realize the value here perhaps that you brought, And coffee cup is how do they contact you? It's going to be light, I think. It'll be a light kind of like it says, just let's talk. Let's get some coffee. But back to Moon and Leo, Moon energy is what they deeply desire. And, the mother energy, you would think, okay, you don't want a mother in a relationship, but you certainly, if you want a family with someone, you want someone who has motherly instincts. You want a partner where you and your partner to a certain degree embody that mother instinct, and hopefully the father archetype as well, because that's the archetype of humanity. And part of that mother archetype that's so healthy is the support and the nurturing. It could be here that this person has really woken up to the value of that, the value of a connection with somebody who is strong in that way, who is a natural mother, a healer, supporter, right? Naturally like that with everyone in their lives. There's a beauty and there's a desire, there's an attraction to that. And your person is appreciating that now as a result of something that's gone on. Now, before they may have walked away because they simply just didn't appreciate what you were bringing to the table, the level of emotional maturity and intelligence that you were bringing. The mother figure brings a level of that as well. People who resonate with mother archetype, so these are people who, and it's going to be male, female. We're talking about divine energies. These are people who naturally nurture others, naturally support others, naturally sort of teach, right? They're natural teachers, healers. It's like they provide everything that's necessary for you to grow into a healthy human being, as long as they don't have any shadow energy themselves. And so this is what they truly appreciate. Wow. And there's the King of Cups. They want to be a King of Cups to you. They may have been before an immature King of Wands. Now they want to be a mature King of Cups. They love that that energy of you. They want something. Let's move on to the tarot to support this. The Hierophant and the Wheel of Fortune. They desire to make contact with the hopes of having a more, serious connection, a more committed connection, a more sort of, structured connection, serious. They're serious, whereas before they may not have been serious. Now they're serious. They may have walked away at a time when they just couldn't be serious about things, right? They may not have been able to be serious about any relationship, not let alone a relationship here with you, right? And yet they're coming back now with a very serious mode. Hierophant energy could indicate somebody who really does want to be married, start a family. Do any of you out there know somebody like that? Are you resonating with this person? Is this someone that perhaps you were providing this energy for them before and they didn't really value it? I'm curious, and would you be willing to have that coffee cup conversation with them? I mean, if somebody walked away from you because they were immature, right? And then they grew up, you realize that maybe there's some time that's gone by and they really grew up. They really were tested. Strength energy here. I do hear for some of you that this individual may even have had to, go see some lockdown time or they just, had to pay, some kind of price, I want to say, whether financial or with their freedom or in some kind of way for their immaturity, their lack of emotional intelligence and maturity and strength. And so the lessons they've learned are really like palpable, right? The lesson. Do you know anybody like that? And would you still be willing, having said that, right? Having said that and that they walked away, would you be willing to have that coffee cup with them? That cup of coffee with them. Would you be willing? There's a Wheel of Fortune energy here, a feeling definitely of the divine, a feeling that this is connected karmically. And so it still needs to kind of like go through its stages. It's like this connection hasn't gone through all of its stages yet. And this stage now is the stage where this person who will contact you has woken up, realized something, certainly values you, and now really desires a more serious, more permanent connection, right? Something that's really forward thinking. So what does Spirit have to say? Spirit says, after the storm. Yes, somebody had a storm in their life. Could be them. Something happened again with that strength energy. Something happened. There was some kind of storm that forced them to sort of dig into their strength. So I'm curious, what happened. But certainly Spirit is letting you know that after the storm, and the storm here may indeed be the storm that you went through, if you're resonating with this, because there was a connection here. Somebody walked away from somebody. So, after all of the bombast and the emotions, and maybe it was very dramatic, but after the storm comes the healing and the grounding. Spirit of the earth, nature, grounded ancestors will answer your questions. Spirit of alchemy, we have manifest, skill, transmutation. Yeah, it's transmuted. So it feels to me like this definitely was a rocky patch, right? Don't forget, at the end of the reading, I will be pulling the zodiac runes. Yeah, it's a rocky patch. A rocky patch. And yet painful. There was some pain here. But it doesn't feel like you guys, it doesn't feel like devastating, right? There was just this space, this Eight of Cups. It's like, I'm stepping off. It may not have even got that serious, this connection with this person. It may have ended, or somebody walked away before it even had a chance to get serious. There's the Hierophant again. So this person absolutely wants to be serious. Absolutely wants something deeper, more commitment. Maybe it was you. Was it you who didn't want the commitment? Somebody wants commitment here now. They're ready for it. They're ready to fight for it. So that's what I'm curious about. Damn, 2 Hierophants in one reading. Absolutely. And then with the mother energy, somebody not only wants commitment, they want a family. They want a family. They want to have children or more children if they don't, if they already have some, adopt, have, whatever. They want something traditional. There's a traditional vibe here coming in. Almost as if this person, for some of you, this person may have been very untraditional in the way that they were handling their relationships. And now that they've kind of come full circle, they've gone through this particular experience, and now they desire to come back and be extremely traditional. You may indeed just be dealing with somebody who's kind of, a person of extremes anyway. When they want whatever they want to do it to an extent. All right, let's go ahead and get into the zodiacs that you might be dealing with. The zodiac signs you might be dealing with in this connection is a Capricorn. Yes, we'll put that over here today. All right, what else? Next sign you might be dealing with is a Libra, that air sign. What else do we have? Some of you may be dealing with an Aquarius, more air. Lots of air. Libra, Aquarius, Capricorn, that earth. And some of you finally are dealing with more air. So all the air signs, Gemini, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, and Capricorn as the earth sign. Wow. All right. That's the message I have for you and for pile 3 for today. Thank you so much. This has been Bow and Arrow Tarot. I hope this reading gave you clarity and insight. If you wanted to go check out one of the other piles, go ahead. But for right now, I wish you all love, life, and happiness. And I hope to see you right back at Bow and Arrow Tarot for your next tarot reading. Bye-bye now.